Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Quick History. Today, I'll be talking about the Simon Commission, and because this is a quick history, we'll be done in just 7 minutes or less. So let's begin. Before we learn about the Simon Commission, we need to know some stuff about the Government of India Act of 1919. This act had introduced the system of diarchy to govern the provinces of British India. A diarchy is a form of government with two separate administrative bodies. These changes were based on the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms by Edwin Montagu, who was the Secretary of State for India at the time, and Lord Chelmsford, who was the Viceroy of India. These reforms aimed at increasing the participation of Indians in the administration of the country. One body of administration would be represented by Indians, while the other body would still be controlled by the British. The British government would have control over the army, foreign affairs, railways, and communication, while the Indian leaders would have control over local matters such as sanitation, education, agriculture, and the police. Thus, it is obvious that the British still had the advantage in this new system, as they maintained control over several important functions of the state. Many Indian leaders and the general public were not happy with these reforms, as they expected more independence from the British, especially after participating in World War I. The Government of India Act of 1919 said that a special commission would be appointed after 10 years to review these changes and to suggest new steps for reform. In the late 1920s, the ruling Conservative government in England appointed 7 British members of Parliament to constitute the commission to examine the state of Indian constitutional affairs. This commission was called the Indian Statutory Commission, and it was headed by this man, Sir John Simon, which is why it's commonly called the Simon Commission. The commission included 6 other members. Out of these 6 people, keep an eye on this guy. His name is Clement Attlee, and he'll be popping up in the video a little later. The Indian Statutory Commission was established when Lord Birkenhead was the Secretary of State in India. He was a pessimist who believed that the divide between Hindus and Muslims would never be resolved in India, and he was against granting more participation to Indians in the administration. In fact, he spent most of his time in India playing golf and indulging in other leisurely activities. As you can see, there's not a single Indian member in the commission, and as a result, many people in India were outraged and insulted. The Indian National Congress resolved to boycott the commission and challenged Lord Birkenhead to draft a constitution that would be acceptable to the Indian people. A faction of the Muslim League, led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, also decided to boycott the commission at this time. Lord Birkenhead was sure that the Indian leaders would not be able to create a report of their own, as there would be no common consensus among the Hindus, Muslims, and other social groups that existed all across India at this time. The Congress Party took up the challenge and constituted a committee under Motilal Nehru, which would create its own report with the consensus of the majority of Indians. In September of 1928, Motilal Nehru presented his Nehru Report. This report stated that India must be given dominion status, which was the same status that was given to countries like Australia and South Africa. The report included several fundamental rights, and it wished to set up a federal government structure. It stated that the powers of the legislative, executive, and judiciary must be derived from the people of the nation. It also stated that there shall be no state religion and that there shall be joint electorates for the Hindus and the Muslims. Finally, it stated that there shall be no national language, and all languages such as Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Gujarati, Bengali, etc. would be accepted as official languages of the state. This report was released even before the one by the Simon Commission, and it was approved by most of the leaders of the Congress Party. However, many young leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah were against the promise of dominion status, as they wanted complete independence from the British. All of this happened toward the end of 1928. Let's go back to the beginning of the year and see where the Simon Commission was at this time. The Simon Commission left England in January of 1928 and arrived in Pondicherry on the 4th of February. Its members were immediately confronted by a mass of protesters. A strike began, and many people turned out to greet the commission with black flags, waving them left, right, and center, and they began to raise the popular slogan, "Simon, go back." Similar protests occurred in every major Indian city that the 7 British MPs visited. One protest against the Simon Commission that became infamous was the protest organized by Lala Lajpat Rai in Lahore. On the 30th of October in 1928, the commission arrived in Lahore, where it was met by protesters waving black flags. In order to make way for the commission, the local police force began beating the protesters. Lala Lajpat Rai was critically injured due to the police brutality, and unfortunately, he passed away 2 weeks later. The Simon Commission published its report in May of 1930, in which it proposed the abolition of the diarchy system and the establishment of representative governments in the provinces. It also stated that separate electorates for Hindus and Muslims must be retained, at least until the violence between the two groups had died down in the country. The British government noted that several members of the Indian public opposed the Simon Commission and that instances of violence had increased during the late 1920s. As a compromise, the British decided that the Indian opinion, in the form of the Nehru Report, would also be taken into account while creating the new Government of India Act. Among these two reports, most of the suggestions proposed by the Simon Commission were taken into account, while the Nehru Report was given second-class treatment, and only a few of the changes were even considered by the British government. The outcome of the discussion of these two reports was the Government of India Act of 1935. This act forms the basis of many parts of the Indian Constitution. In 1937, the first elections were held in the Indian provinces, and the Congress Party won most of these elections. It is interesting to note that Clement Attlee, the guy I had asked you to remember from the Simon Commission, was deeply moved by his experience in India, and by 1933, he argued that British rule was an alien concept in India, as they were unable to make the social and economic reforms necessary for India's progress. He became the British leader most sympathetic to Indian independence, though he wanted to retain it as a dominion of England. He continued to advocate for Indian independence in the British Parliament. He became the Prime Minister of Britain in 1945 and oversaw the decolonization of India and Pakistan in 1947. And that's been the Simon Commission in less than 7 minutes. If you liked that video, don't forget to comment, share and subscribe. In any case, thank you so much for watching.